डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Welcome to Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. In the previous sessions we have discussed the basics of Java, and then after we have discussed the GUI programming using the Swing components. Now today we are going to talk about networking in Java. So how do we program a Java in networking using Java? So generally when the network comes in our mind, then the picture comes that there would be a group of computers, they will be talking with each other, they would be sharing the data. In certain terms, in different kinds of data they would be sharing. So whenever the network comes in our mind, we talks and we think that there would be a group of computers. Now network, okay, it's fine, but when we are talking with respect to Java, then in Java there is a rich library for implementing a network programming. So the library is, we can say, comes in java.net package. So whenever we want to program a networking application using Java, we have to import java.net library. So before that, let us see that how socket programming is implemented in Java. So generally when we are talking about sharing a network program, sharing the data in a network, then there would be two concepts. There would be two objects. One is known as client and another is known as server. So what is client and what is server? So generally everybody knows that a client and server both are the programs. One is responsible to fire the request, generate the request, and second one is responsible to listen the request and serve the request by sending the response back to the client. So this is visualized over here. You can see that there is a client and there is a server. Client opens a connection, sends a request, receives response and closes the connection. So this is the mechanism in a general client server environment. Now when we are talking about client server environment, at the same time another term comes that is called a latency. Latency time. What does it mean? Latency, that means the time taken by a request from the client and it request, or we can say data. Once a data is sent or request is sent from client and the time it takes to reach to the server, then the whole round trip time will be known as latency time. So latency time is very important, as if the latency time is more, that means if a round trip is more time consuming, then we can see the protocol implemented is less effective. So if there are certain examples that we are talking about HTTP protocol, then HTTP protocol generates a single request and single response. That means it is faster, while at the same time there is a SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. Simple mail transfer protocols involves number of tasks, so it is having a more latency time. So we can say that that protocol is, we can say, a less effective. Now apart from this latency time, there are certain other concepts associated with the networking in Java. Though among that, the first one is the IP address. The IP address, what does it mean? IP address, then the IP address means a simple unique address of a particular computer in a network. As we know that each and every student is having a unique enrollment number in a classroom. So same way the IP is also identified in a network of computers. Then through IP address we can identify that this is the particular system to whom the particular IP is allocated. Apart from IP address, there is a protocol. So what is protocol? So protocol is very important, and we can't think about network without protocol. As protocol, if we have to define, we can say that it is a set of rules and regulation which controls the overall network communication. So this is all about the rules and regulation that every, we can say, communication has to follow. Then after, there is another term, port. So what is port? So simply in each and every protocol is assigned a port number through which the communication takes place. Generally, well, there are well defined protocol port numbers assigned by the TCP IP protocol to serve the different kinds of services. Let us say an example that 21 is for the file transfer protocol, 23 port number is used for telnet, 25 port number is used for simple mail transfer protocol, and we all know that 80 number protocol is a HTTP protocol. Then after, the another term is client server that we already discussed. Then after, we can say socket concept is very important, that when we are talking about networking, that means we are talking about socket programming. So what is socket? The socket is generally an endpoint between a two machine in a network. So socket establishes a connections between two end-to-end machines to share the data, to communicate the data between each other. So generally let us have an example that it is just like an electric grid. So what happens in electric grids? So whenever we are plugging in a plug, we can say plugs in a kitchen, in a home, then the we can say network environment, the network environment, or we can say the protocols in a house, in a electric grid must be aware that where to establish a communication. As we have plugged in a kitchen, that means the socket address is there, that the plugged in, it is plugged in a kitchen. So the socket address will be fetched by the underlying protocol, and the communication will takes place based on the address it is having in a home electric grid. So this is the same way that socket performs. The client and server both establishes a communication based on the socket that they are, we can say, mutually understanding on a particular port number. Then after, another term is there, domain name service, DNS. The generally it is very difficult for each and everyone to remember IP addresses. So for resolving such kind of problems, the DNS comes. So DNS is generally a mapping of IP address with we can say generally a naming concepts, that if you are talking about www.yahoo.com, then it is called a domain name service, a domain, we can say the domain is a Yahoo. So it is very easy for a human being to remember compared to remembering the IP address. So these are all the terminologies associated with the networking. Now let us come, when we are talking about networking in Java, then TCP and UDP, these two concepts is very important to understand, because we will program using these two things, TCP programming and UDP programming. So what is TCP and what is UDP? So generally TCP is transmission control protocol and UDP is user datagram protocol. When we are first of all we will discuss about the TCP. So TCP is generally a connection oriented protocol. That means whenever we are establishing a connection, that means the client and server must be there to process, to communicate the data with each other. Then and then the TCP is, we can say, successful, or we can say that we are using the TCP protocols for communication between the client and server. If the client and server are not there and sending and receiving process takes place, then there would be certain problems that we will see, and that is opposite to the TCP, means it is in UDP. So first of all, the TCP generally ensures, as it says, that it is a connection oriented protocol. So at the same time it ensures the reliability in terms of sending the data to the client. Then after, it also ensures the robustness. Then it also ensures, we can say, the integrity of the data. That means data which has been sent from server, from client to the server, or from server to the client, reaches the destination in the same way as it was sent. It was not, we can say, corrupted in between. Then after, the checksum makes these things. Then after, we are using the time slot for sending repetitive retransmission of the packets. If the packet is duplicated, then it will be rejected and another packet would be sent based on the time slot or time out parameters is used in TCP. Then after, we can say another certain services are there which are using TCP for such reliable and effective communication. They are HTTP, FTP, SMTP and Telnet. These services are using the TCP protocols for providing better services to the user. Then sequence number is also used to check whether the duplicate packet has been received or not, and if it is received, it will be discarded immediately. So this is general overview of the TCP. At the same time, now what is UDP? As we talked about TCP, the TCP is connection oriented, then opposite to TCP is UDP, it is connection less protocol. So what does it mean? That I told you that there would be a client and server to establish and communicate the data in TCP, but in UDP there is nothing like a client and server. That means the client and server should not be there to make a communication. The communication takes place without checking that the destination computer is there, or we can say server is there, client is there or not, and it starts sending the data without, irrespective of client and server presence. So it indicates that there is, we can say, a less reliability of sending and receiving data. That means we can't ensure, a client never ensures that whether the request it has he or she has sent to the server will be reached, which is it will reach to the server or not, and the data he or she is receiving will be in the same order as it has been sent by the server or not. So, the reliability is not, we can say, guaranteed over here, as it is connection less protocol. Then after we can say that UDP is used by the applications generally which is having a requirement of fast transmission. That means data must be transmitted fast irrespective of quality of service. So, the thing is that the such kind of applications are like audio and video streaming, games. So, in this environment, in such kind of applications are using the UDP protocol compared to the TCP, because in these applications the data transmission is required in a fast. So, DNS is there, VoIP is there, these are the services which are using UDP service. Now, let us have a, after learning the TCP and UDP concept, we need to differentiate it on certain, based on certain criteria. So, among that the first one is the connection. So, we already know that TCP is connection oriented, UDP is connection less protocol. Then usage, the generally I told you that usage is that highly TCP is highly reliable, transmission time it takes is very less critical compared to the UDP, as applications which requires fast transmission uses the UDP compared to the TCP. Then after, the protocols which are using TCP are HTTP, Telnet, FTP, while the protocols DNS, DHCP, VoIP are the services which are using the UDP protocols. Now, ordering of packets, now ordering of data we can say. So, the data that has been sent from client to the server or server to the client must be in the same order it has been sent. That is ensured in TCP, as it is connection oriented and it is having a sequence number which checks continuously for the order of the packets it is receiving and sending, while in UDP there is at the data that has been sent, it is in packet. So, packet is not required to maintain this such kind of sequence. So, ordering of packet is not maintained in UDP. Then after, speed of transfer, so TCP takes less time and it is slower compared to the UDP, as TCP is having a, we can say, retransmission facility, acknowledgement facility, whether the data has been received or not, kind of things. Then after, the reliability is there, as we know that TCP is more reliable compared to the UDP, as it is having a retransmission, acknowledgement kind of things, as we discussed. Header size, so generally TCP is having a 20 bytes of header size compared to the UDP, as UDP is having a 8 bytes of header size. Then generally the common headers points, header fields are used is the checksum, destination port, and we can say source port are there. Then error checking, so in TCP error checking takes place and error recovery is also there, and if the error is found in the packet, then that would be discarded and the retransmission takes place, while in UDP error checking takes place, but simply if the error is found, then that packet would be discarded, but it is not going to be retransmitted again. So, it is less reliable, that is why. And there are various fields used in the TCP compared to the UDP. Okay. Now, we will discuss the socket class in Java. So, what is socket class? Generally, the socket class is responsible for connecting a remote computer to another computers, then after sending data, receiving data, closing a connection, binding a port, listening to incoming connection. These are the various functionality a socket is performing in Java. Now, after learning these concepts, understanding the TCP and UDP concepts, now it is very important that how do we build socket programming, or we can say how do we create a TCP socket program and UDP socket program in Java. So, to build or to develop a Java program using TCP and UDP, we need a one package that is called java.net. Now, java.net, as we know that package is generally a collection of classes, interfaces, okay, and we can say other functionality as well, but most important are classes and interfaces, as well as other exceptions is also there. So, various classes are there in java.net package. Among that, the most important classes are, we can say, socket class, server socket class, datagram packet, datagram socket, URL connector, URL encoder. These, and apart from that, there are other classes is there, but most important classes are this that we are going to discuss it in detail. Apart from these classes, there are other exceptions is there in java.net. So whenever if any machine or we can say IP address is not available, host is not available, then malfound URL exception is there, socket exception is there, that is going to be we can say thrown from the application. And there are certain interfaces also there that is going to be used, like URL stream handle factory, socket implementation factory is there. Now after considering and discussing the java.net package, different classes, interfaces and exceptions, there are certain, as we see, the number of ports, well known ports are there that are used in network communication in Java. So we have seen that FTP, Telnet, SMTP, STPT and rest others are there, and it is going to be we can say displayed on the port numbers slide, so you can visualize it. Now TCP socket class. Now come to the point, the TCP socket, what the TCP socket class does. So generally socket class allows to perform all fundamental operations like connecting to the machine, sending the data, receiving the data and closing the connection. So to create a socket we need to use the constructor, and constructor it comes in the 4 flavors, as like it indicated in here, that first constructor takes a string host argument and a port number, likewise INET address, port numbers is there, and each and every we can say socket class throws unknown host exceptions, IO exceptions. If the connection is not established, then it may throw a unknown host exception, that means the machine to which we want to establish a connection is not available. At the same time, if IO fails, then IO exception will be thrown. So by using the socket constructor we can establish a connections with a machine. Then after establishing the connections with the server, it is very important to transmit the data. How do we transmit data? So for that we need a certain input and output kind of mechanism. So to input and output mechanism we will get a input stream class and output stream class. So that will be received using the input stream and output stream classes, and using that method get input stream and get output stream instance with the help of instances. Okay. So this is all about socket class. The second class is server socket. What the server socket class delivers to us? The server socket class is having a constructor again. This constructor is simply listening for a particular port number, and it only listens on a port number. Once the port number it is having with a client already knows that on which port the server is listening for the connections. So when the client sends a request, the server listens on the particular port, it accepts the request, as accept method is already there, on which it continuously listens for the incoming request. Once it accepts the request from the client, the connection establishes, then client sends the request, server accepts the request, reads the data from the client, processes the data, forms the response, sends the response back to the client, and this way the whole cycle takes place in a network communication in a TCP environment. So in TCP environment we will use socket and server socket classes to establish a network connection and to transmit the data between client and server. At the same time, there is a INET address class. There is a INET address class. So INET address class generally deals with the IP address. It binds the IP and port. Okay, and it is having number of methods which helps us to get the host IP address, or we can say a IP address of a particular system through which a user, client or server wants to communicate. So it is having number of methods: get by name, get localhost, get host name and get host address, which returns the name of the we can say host name and address of a particular system. Apart from that, there are other classes which we can discuss. They are the datagram packet and datagram socket. Then datagram packet class and datagram socket class are very important when we are talking about UDP. So what the UDP? We already know that UDP is a connectionless protocol. So when we want to program in Java using UDP, we will use these two classes, datagram socket and datagram packet. So datagram socket class will help us to create a socket, establishes the connection, and then after we will create a datagram packet which is a container of data. Datagram packet is simply known as a container which will contain the data, and we will send this packet using the datagram socket to the server. At the other end, the server will receive this datagram packet, process the data, once again send the same datagram packet as a response back to the client. So, this way the whole cycle of communication using the UDP protocol will takes place. As we discussed that in TCP we are using server socket and socket class, at the same time in UDP we are going to use datagram packet and datagram socket class. So, this is all about UDP and TCP programming. Now, the same concept we will try to understand through program. So, let us have a glimpse and look at the Java program that we have developed using the TCP and UDP. First of all, let us have a look at the TCP socket client class. What it does, simply we have created one main method, and if the host is not available, then this method will throw unknown host exception, IO exception if he is having a problem while reading and writing the data, class not available, then these are the exception it will be thrown whenever if any unexpected thing happens. Then after in a main method we are getting the IP host address using the get localhost address using the inet address class. We are creating, see here, we are creating the socket instance as in client, and it is initialized with null initially. Then after we are creating two instances of object output stream and object input streams to read the data from the server and sending the data to the server. And simply what the program does, we have created one for loop up to the 5 and it counts up to 5, and once the variable I reaches to the 4, we are writing the object using write object method of the output stream class, object output stream class. What we are writing? So, simply see here we have created socket, we are initializing the socket within new socket host dot get host name, and we are listening it on a particular, that means we are using port number 8566. This is the port number on which we will connect with server. Server would also be listening on this port number 8566. Then after once the socket is there, we will create initialize the output stream object, and we will use socket dot get output stream, and once I is equal to 4, we will write object exit method, but up to the 3, that means whenever the I will be 0, 1, 2 and 3, we are going to write the value of I in a output stream, see here in a else part. So, first initial for iteration from 0 to 3, we are going to print I as a request in a data to the server, okay. And once the I reaches to the 4, we are going to send or write a message exit to the server. Once this is going to be completed, at this opposite end, see in the server socket program the same thing happens, port is same, we are creating the server socket instance, and in server is listening on the port that we have mentioned. Then socket object is also created here, and this socket is also a server instance. It is continuously accept, that accept method indicates that it is continuously listening for the incoming request. Once the request is there, it accepts it and it reads the data that has been sent by the client using the socket dot get input stream method, and it displays it using the read object method. And then after once again it writes the same instance back to the client in the response using the write object method. See, so we have simply used input stream and output stream from the client to read the variable from the for loop and send it to the server. Server reads it using the output stream object and input stream object as a methods to read and write the data from the stream from the pipe of network, and it closes the connection once the communication is completed. As here we are closing all the instances we have created, and then after it's we can say sleeps for the millisecond, and at last we are closing the server instance, we can say server socket and client socket. At the same way we have, let us first test the program, that how it is going to work, we will see. So, whenever we are talking about client server environment, we have to compile both the programs and we have to use another command prompt. As server would be, we have to start server on one command prompt as server continuously listens for the incoming request. Here we will compile the server TCP client. Now here we will start in another command prompt. We will start here the server. That TCP server is continuously, as we already talked, that it is continuously waiting and listening for the client request. So here the message they are waiting for the client request. Now here we will run the client program. Once the client program start, see here in both the screen, from here 1 0 1 2 3, that 4 up to the 4 3 we have checked the condition that 4 equals to exit. Then up to the third stage, the client will write the data to the server, server receives it, process it, send back to the client, and both end we have printed, so the message is displayed in both the prompts. So this is all about client and server using the TCP environment, using the server socket and socket class. At the same way, in a UDP environment, we have used, as I told you, that when we are talking about UDP protocol, we will use a datagram socket class and datagram packet. The datagram socket is a class which allows us to establish a connections with the server, and datagram packet is simply a container of data which will contain the data, and the socket will send it to the client and server. This is what all about datagram packet. Here in this class, we are creating this class. We have a array of bytes to store the data and send the data to the server. We are reading the bytes from the string, okay, and then after sending the data, see here, send data is the instance of datagram packet. We are sending the data, its length, and the IP address we have received using get by name of localhost and the port on which the server is listening. Once it is sent, the server will receive it in the same opposite manner. It will send it back, and at the same time we will also receive it over here, receive packet dot get data, and we are going to print it again, and then after we will close here client socket in the same way once it is in a server environment. So this is all about a UDP program. Now let us have a test in both the client server environment. Here we will compile Java C UDP server socket dot, okay. Here we will compile UDP client, okay. Now we will start server, as server is continuously listening for the client request. Suppose we are writing Ahmedabad and sending. So what we did, we have sent the Ahmedabad as an argument request to the server. What the server does, server receives it, converts into the capital, and then sends back as a response to the client. So here the Ahmedabad is printed in a capital words. What you have done here, see here we have used two uppercase methods simply. Once the server receives this method, data from the network, it converts it into the uppercase and sends back as a bytes. See here, send data to the particular local host and the mentioned IP port number and IP address. So this way the UDP protocol is used using the datagram packet and datagram socket class. So this is all about TCP and UDP programming in Java networking. Now at last I would tell you that TCP and UDP both are very important. So we can't say that the UDP is better and TCP is not better, and TCP is better and UDP is not better. Both are better and both is having their places in a particular environment. As we know, TCP is very efficient, reliable, so it can be used whenever we need. Okay, after learning the TCP and UDP programming using the server socket, datagram packet and datagram socket classes, we can say that then TCP and UDP both is having their own role in a Java networking. Now at last I would like to tell you that both are very important. We will never say that this is best and this is not best, because both is having their, we can say, own, we can say, domain importance. So TCP is, we can say, a robust and it provides a guaranteed delivery of data or packet to the client and server, while at the opposite end UDP is very efficient, fast. So we can use UDP whenever we have such kind of requirements, like in gaming environment, audio and video streaming. So this is all about TCP and UDP programming in Java using the java.net package. I hope you might have got all this concept and stuff easily. Thank you very much.
स्वाध्यायः